Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money channel. I gotta hand it to Cypress Domenicore here on Twitter. Ripple was on steroids, building connections during the month of August. None of these fundamentals hit the mainstream, guys. Long-term bullish is what he's saying here. Now, I do suggest you guys watch his video here. He did post this over there on Twitter, and I will link this in the description of the video for you. He goes through some interesting connections. I'm going to hit some of the highlights here that, some of the news that we just didn't get on mainstream media. First of all, he mentions this, Rahul Advani at the GSPN. Rahul Advani, guys, works for Ripple. He works for Ripple in Singapore. This is all happening in Southeast Asia. Let me bring up his LinkedIn profile for you. So this is what Cypress Domenicore noticed here, okay? He pointed out that Rahul Advani posted this on his LinkedIn. It's a short week in Singapore with the regional day holiday. However, I was flying the Singapore and Ripple flags in Bangkok, Thailand, at the first ever Global Sustainability and Productivity Network, or GSPN, dialogue hosted at the United Nations SCAP, or ESCAP. Thank you to Dato Steve Chia and the team at Diplomatic Council and Gen Thailand for the opportunity to participate. Now, this is a big conference. It's the first ever, but it did not get a lot of media attention. But here it is, guys. Rahul Advani of Ripple at this conference, and he brings up that this is a UN-sponsored event. Check out all those flags. So we're not getting this in mainstream media news. Cypress Domenicore also just gave a Google search here just showing that none of this, guys, has even been noted by mainstream media. Nobody's picking it up, okay? And this just happened in August. So not only are we getting, all this news about building the rails, Ripple is also quietly building rails, building partnerships and connections in other parts of the world. Not to mention this, guys, from ISO 20022, let's do it. Digital token identifier can be used by payment service providers plus DTI assigned to Ripple and DTI digital assets Swift. Now, in the past, Ripple and Swift have been at odds, but more and more over the years, we have seen indications that Swift is now going to be integrated or may have to just, tolerate being integrated with Ripple's XRP at some point down the line. This is why Ripple, created an interoperable system to begin with, to be able to integrate with all the current financial platforms that exist. So I don't know when this was particularly dated, but I think it is important to note digital token identifier, or the DTI, okay, payment service providers could be passed through systems to differentiate processing rules and handling. Pass through different systems, okay? Think interoperability, guys, for a second. So right here, they talk about certain standards for cross-border payments. Where was it here? The DTI Foundation has proactively issued identifiers for the top 100 cryptocurrencies by market capitalization, thereby enabling all major cryptocurrencies to be tracked, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, and Ripple. So obviously they're meaning XRP. And then in November 2022, Swift published an updated version of its high-level information document, which sets out technical changes for the standards MT release in 2023. Now, recently I did a video. November 2023, guys, is looking to be shaping up as that target date for a lot of these institutions to be integrating. And so, we were discussing the possibility of interoperability. I'll see if I can find a video I did on that recently, and I'll post it up here in the top right-hand corner. But this gives you guys a bit of a roadmap as to, what we should be expecting in the coming months. Another thing I wanted to mention here with regards to Ripple and the legal entity identifier, or the LEI, okay? Check this out, guys. The IMF and the WEF were discussing using Ripple Ledger as a new stable bridge currency as well. Here's the LEI document, an older document from 2021. Nevertheless, here's what it says. We know it is currently being discussed within the IMF, or the International Monetary Fund, and World Economic Forum, with projects such as Ripple Ledger potentially offering faster, more reliable, and cost-effective ways to send money abroad, i.e. remittances. This could form a new stable bridge currency, liquidating trillions of capital held in reserves in foreign pre-funded accounts, and provide stimulus to the wider economy, which is the exact economic boost needed in these difficult times. Now, this came out in the midst of the beer flu. Both Swift and Ripple Ledger have signed up to the ISO 20022 standard, as we know, which may potentially adopt the LEI as a KYC solution. So here again, we see Swift and Ripple both signing up to ISO 20022. Interoperability, guys, is key. And you can see the ISO logo there. I wanted to play you guys this clip as well, just from the LEI organization. I do also have that same report down here that was screen grabbed in the ISO 20022 Let's Do It tweet. But let me just play you guys this real quick.
We are living in an increasingly digital world, and with over 7 billion people living on the planet and millions of companies doing business worldwide, the legal Legal Entity Identifier (LEI) system helps us accurately identify who we are doing business with on a global scale. The LEI allows us to know who is who, so we can make smarter decisions about who we work with. A legal entity identifier is a 20-digit, globally verifiable, unique identity code assigned to companies individually. Each LEI confirms a company's identity, existence, and group structure. The LEI is currently being adopted as the single most important identifier in the global financial system. LEIs are required by many companies engaging in financial transactions globally. Having an LEI is mandated by many regulatory bodies around the world. The LEI system has far-reaching benefits, not only increasing transparency within capital markets, but also in banking, KYC, client onboarding, and anti-money laundering. LEI Worldwide is a leading provider of legal entity identifiers, supporting the global issuance and renewals of LEIs since 2017. Trusted by many of the world's leading organizations, LEI Worldwide is an official GLEIF registration agent, providing 24/7 customer support with global coverage. Benefit from increased credibility, regulatory compliance, and security for your brand's digital identity by joining millions of companies around the world and registering or renewing a legal entity identifier today.
So you guys see how important this LEI thing really is. Actually, let me bring that up one more time. I'm just going to show a screen grab here that I noticed. Let me just scroll through this, bringing us the identifier, the LEI. Okay, here it is. G20 endorsed ISO standard regulatory requirements. Okay, these are all things I just wanted to point out. These are all things that we know Ripple has been compliant with. One of the only cryptocurrency companies in the space that has decided, okay, we need to be regulatorily compliant. And so this is how we're going to roll. Fast forward 2021, and they have been noted in this particular report from the LEI website. Where was it? It was right over here. Okay, some of the benefits here: increasing transparency within capital markets, banking, KYC, client onboarding, and anti-money laundering. So of course, again, just abiding by the standards of banking. All things that we can say confidently as XRP holders, Ripple has been doing, full stop. Okay, let me continue, guys. The ISO GOAT also mentioning this. Some interesting wording here, an interesting choice of words. Everybody is talking about a switch, and the doc says what it says. These are not my words. These are words coming from this particular document here. This article describes the major changes implied by the regulatory changes that will come into effect globally on November 19th, 2023. So guys, again, I strongly urge that you watch that video that I did this past week or last week. Another one from the ISO GOAT here. Transitions take time. This is just food for thought. I brought this tweet up yesterday, specifically taking a look at some of the organizations, including Swift Fin Plus, Swift Standards Release, and many Ripple partners too, guys. Look at the release implementation dates, most of them November 19th, 2023. So when we look at this, and we take a look at the changes that are going to be including for some of the Swift system, we can check this out down here. Swift activation setting. The Swift 2023 functionality can be activated via a central switch. The new functionality can be switched on or off. Okay, yeah, they said it, switched on or off, i.e., yeah, there's a switch, guys. There's apparently a switch in the application allowing to view the functionality before the activation date in November of 2023. So, they have confirmed there is a switch that can be turned on and turned off. The ISO GOAT also saying, these are not his words. This was in this report directly, guys, and I will link this in the description of the video. It did come from this here. Swift activation settings, you can see it down here. The functionality can be switched on or off in the application. And again, I will provide all these links for you. So what is the DOCA SaaS? It's a fully cloud-based software as a service in the back office trade finance solution, specifically designed to enable the banks to improve their trade finance processing efficiencies, improve their customer experience, and facilitate global trade. So this is all talking about Swift and how they're going to flip the switch, but what else do we know? Remember, guys, back in May of 2022 when Swift and Capgemini teamed up to test using international networks for central bank digital currency transfers. But what do we also know? Ripple has also been mentioned by Capgemini as a possible solution. Many developers foresee CBDCs interacting outside the traditional network, potentially with the aid of Ripple's XRP. So there is in fact a connection to Capgemini and Ripple. Could be one of these classic instances where Swift is damned if they do, damned if they don't. They're going to have to run through Ripple and XRP at some point anyway. The integration, the interoperability has been first and foremost in Ripple's sights from the beginning. So if Swift does have to run on Ripple, whether it's through Capgemini or whether they settle on Corda R3 through XRP, a flip the switch moment could occur. Oh yeah, and then there was this, guys. Remember this video I did about a year ago now? David Schwartz confirms an XRP liquidity switch will be flipped. Now, 2022 clearly wasn't the year, but just to remind you guys, listen to this. So some theories floating around here, and to that point, guys, David Schwartz, Joel Katz, from November of 2017. Now, I've never seen this screen grab before, so I thought it was interesting, brought to us by Real XRP Boy here on Twitter. David is no stranger to flipping the switch. And so here's what he said in this. I think we're at a critical point now where we are starting to pivot some customers to XRP for some corridors. Again, guys, this was back from 2017. We have enough adoption now and enough value and liquidity in XRP that's realistic. And then he uses an example of a Ripple client. Qualix is so far the only announced partnership of this type. But fast forward 5 years, the main limiting factor right now is everyone having enough confidence that the system is going to work correctly and that they're willing to flip the switch and let it make large irreversible payments without intervention. So it sounds like there is a switch that does need to be flipped. Of course, back in 2017, they were nowhere near ready to flip that switch. Nowhere near ready in 2017 to flip the switch. However, November 2023, the on and off switch in the application will allow to view and test functionality before the activation date. So we're eyeing a specific date. Swift is saying it, and all these other Ripple-enabled companies have now stated that the release and implementation date is in fact November 19th, 2023. So hopefully this means something positive for XRP price. I don't know. We're just going to have to see, guys. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.